Protesters once again are out at the site of the conference in Sharm el-Sheikh. A daily event here, this is the biggest protest yet during this year's talks, and all they want is climate justice. Most demonstrations held at the conference have taken place in the summit's blue zone, which falls under the responsibility of the United Nations. The Egyptian government has not permitted any protest outside the area.
We need to keep fighting to make sure that inside these negotiations, actually the voice of the most affected people by the climate crisis are heard, are listened, and the actions are taken and agreed here. So I think what is interesting also of this kind of coalition and this kind of march is actually that we do link what's happening in the text of negotiations with the concrete challenges and fights of people every day all around the world.
Climate catastrophes from historic floods in Nigeria and Pakistan to the worst drought in decades across the Horn of Africa, which affect millions of people, have been constant talking points here. But at the end of the first week, the aim of coming together for implementation has been elusive.
This COP was meant to help deliver tangible progress on adaptation, and particularly around defining the global goal on adaptation. It was meant to deliver the decision that was agreed in Glasgow last year around doubling adaptation finance. And it was meant to agree a loss and damage facility that offers assurance, particularly to the communities on the front lines that are most impacted by climate change. And on each of these issues, developed world are shirking their responsibility and are failing to step up and actually honor their promises, particularly on adaptation, on loss and damage, and on climate finance.
Nigeria is in the group of 77 and China, the largest organization of developing countries in the UN. The countries are already having informal and formal meetings in order to articulate their position.
Over the next 1 week, it's where we'll be looking at the grammar issues. Should we push shall, should we push should? But essentially, the developing countries will be insisting on shall when it comes to financial support, from the developed countries, because they need to do that. They need to support Africa in fighting climate change.
The language of the text is important, as this will indicate there is a full commitment to do what the developed countries have been promising, or shows that the gathering here in Sharm el-Sheikh will end up being another talk without action. Ayola Kasim, Channels Television News.